Coach, I think I heard on the broadcast that Josh had some sort of minor injury in the first half. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? You okay?
I think he'll be fine, yeah.
Okay. Everything good with Patrick and Lodgy now, too?
Yep.
Forgot to ask after the game, the play that was run to Peyton, the out of bounds, just was that exactly how it was drawn up, or what went into that?
Yeah, and we always talk about it. It rarely works that way. Something always breaks down, and somebody else has to make a play. Sometimes it works, the way you draw it up. Yeah.
It's kind of unique finding him in that opposite corner. So that's how you drew it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we only had 2.9 or 2.7, something like that, 2.5. I can't remember. It was a little over 2. You don't have a lot of time.
Looking kind of ahead at Ohio State, what kind of stands out to you about them on film?
They play hard. They have speed and quickness. Backcourt, I think, is really talented. Getting Battle was a big get for them. You're bringing Zed Key off the bench. I've always been a big fan of his. I think Opara is playing at a high level. I think you could see that coming. He was a freshman last year. McCaffery I always liked when he was at Penn State, so I like their roster.
Now that Patrick's back and healthy, have you thought about putting him back in the starting lineup?
I don't think I will, but that could change depending upon how close to 100% Josh Dix is.
The Maryland game, the IU game was kind of similar, where you guys led, toward the end of the game, and down the stretch they made a few more plays. Was there any commonalities you saw of things that could be better to pull those out?
It was a little different. We had a lead most of the second half against Maryland. It took us a long time to get the lead against Indiana. Our shot selection wasn't great in the last 2 minutes. Wasn't horrible. We got decent shots, but we need to get better shots.
Fan turnout hasn't always been spectacular this year. What do you attribute that to, and what do you think is the key for that to get better?
Say that again?
Fan turnout hasn't always been spectacular this year here at Carver.
Yeah.
What's the key to kind of?
I think the key for us, and it's been that way for a long time, is weekend games. So hopefully Friday night will be good.
Is it frustrating when the results are there on the court oftentimes and the fans aren't?
Yeah, but the thing I always say is, the thing about our fans is they really support the team. We make it real easy for you to watch it on TV, and they don't often like the start times. During the midweek, you got issues with that. But they show up on the weekends typically.
DeSante has been, he began the year in starting and ended up coming off the bench. Just where do you feel like he is right now in terms of being able to make it?
Well, I think he's a valuable player for our team, as is Brock Harding and Price Sanford. Their minutes have been up and down, those three guys. As you get into conference play and sort of streamline the other positions. But I have total confidence in those three guys.
How much rotation-wise is it, predetermined before a game versus just the flow of things?
It's just the flow of the game. Yeah, I don't ever predetermine it. And then also, obviously, when you factor in some injury situations, that's going to create opportunities for other people. And, that's where Evan Bronze has gotten some opportunity and has done well.
With Lodgy, it kind of seems like, injury withstanding, he's come in and really been able to bring value no matter if it's on the score sheet, the stat sheet, or defense or whatever he's doing. It's just he's on the floor, your team gets better.
Yeah, I think his defensive instincts and physicality has been really good, as has his rebounding. He's not afraid to shoot the ball. He'll shoot the ball. I think little by little his offense will come around. He takes good shots. They all look good. He makes some. I think more and more he'll start making a higher percentage.
It seemed like with Ben, obviously he didn't shoot well against Indiana, but it seemed like he had a lot of good looks.
He did have a lot of good looks. I want him to keep shooting it. I don't ever want him to get tentative at all. And it's frustrating sometimes when you're shooting that mid-range jumper that he usually makes, and they're going in and out on you, or they're rolling out. But he kept playing hard, and that's what we need him to do.
I think it's now 4 straight games where Tony's had at least 20. How important has he been, and what do you see as kind of the next
Well,
step?
you want him to continue to be aggressive. I mean, that's when he's at his best. But he's also, been fairly under control as a point guard, and that's the big difference when you're the 2 guard, you can attack, and when you're the point guard, you have to pick your spots, and I think he's really figured that out. He's been really impressive.
He had that shot from about half court the other night. I think I saw you say, "Settle down, P." Is that something you have to say to him like frequently with the way he was shooting the ball?
That was probably a little bit too deep, and he's done that before. You don't ever really want him thinking too much about that. You just want him to fire. But I think, he can do stuff off the bounce, and he can make a play for somebody else rather than take that particular shot. So, but if your best shooter is taking one bad shot a game, it's probably not a bad thing.
Kind of seems like things are just clicking on all cylinders for him and Tony right now.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of confidence. They both are, and they both are showing leadership, and that's what we need him to do.
Peyton, it seems like he's like really hard on himself, and I'm sure to a certain extent everyone is. But how do you approach coaching someone that like might just beat themselves up a lot, based on?
Yeah, I just keep telling them, like, I'm going to keep going to you. I'm going to keep playing you. Just keep firing. So there's never any pressure from the coaching staff as to do this, don't do that, think this, don't think that. Because now you get in your own head. So to me, it's all about building confidence and continuing to know that I believe in them.
We talked about the foul issues with Owen. Is there anything specifically you're doing with him right now to try to?
Yeah, we show him film, what he's doing. Sometimes you think it's not a foul, and that gets frustrating. But then you look at the play, well, maybe I did come down on his arm, or maybe I did bump him ahead of time, and kind of see what the officials are looking at, what they're seeing. So he learns from it. So he doesn't keep doing it, because he's kind of been doing it over and over. And then, of course, then he gets frustrated, and we need him on the floor.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay,
Thanks.
appreciate it, guys.